Hey guys, as you can see, I'm out here doing all sorts of tournament prep. I got a club tournament tomorrow. Got pretty much everything I own out here, so that'll tell you how much of a clue I got going into this tournament. Never been out on that lake at all. I haven't seen it. I have no idea what it looks like. I'm going to assume there's some water and maybe some fish in there, so we'll see how this goes. As promised, I said I would do an Okoboji Tournament Recap. That's what I did back in the last weekend or two of May. It was that TBF state qualifier. Unfortunately, I did not qualify. I had a really good day one where I was sitting in 4th place, I believe. Maybe it was 6th place. I think it was 4th though. After day one, and then on day two, I zeroed. But what I found was a lot of spawning fish. On day two, I spent about 4 hours trying to catch one that was close to 5 pounds. And then after that, I don't want to say panic, but I didn't really follow a great plan after that. But I don't really have a lot of regrets. Had a great time, seen a lot of big fish, caught a lot of good fish, caught a lot of fish. If any of you guys are ever in the Okoboji area, that's northern Iowa, I highly suggest it. It's a great fishery, lots of good largemouth. There's also a lot of good smallmouth, although they didn't really come into play. Just a great fishery. So anyways, I wanted to go over what I did during the tournament and cover some of the baits that I used. So these are the baits that I used. You got the Spro Popping Frog, Gambler Fat Ace, Gambler Twin Tail Grub, and then the new Gambler Stinger. Like I said, most of the fish were spawning. So what I found in practice, and you guys have probably already seen the video of the recap of at least the practice of it. Day one, I was going around with the Popping Frog, just blind casting in some backwaters. I would cast it up. There's a lot of grass, a lot of trees, laid down trees, and I would cast it around anything that looked good. And what I was actually finding, it was spawning fish that would come up and eat this frog. I caught one that was about 5 1/4 on the frog that just blew my mind. And when I released her and went up and looked at where she came from, she was sitting on a bed already. And then I look over 30 feet to the left, and there's two that are 3 to 4 pounds paired up on a bed just real close to her. That was in a little dirtier water. There were plenty of fish spawning back there. Found some that were spawning. Pretty decent quality. It was a good time. So for the ones that were actually on a bed, I would use the Stinger or the Gambler Twin Tail. If you guys watched my last video where I talked about how I like to fish Gambler soft plastics, the Twin Tail came into big time play. You could have used any of the soft plastics. You didn't need to use a Twin Tail. It just so happened to be the one that I had that was solid white, so I could see it really well. It's a little smaller, so I had to use a 3/0 hook, extra wide gap hook to use it. But I just Texas rig it, toss it out onto a bed, and with these fish in particular, almost every single one of them, I'd have to hit them with the bait. I'd pitch it over their back and work it up to them, and then kind of hit them in the side with the bait. Most of the time, they would turn right around on it and nose down and get it, if not that time, just almost immediately after. So you could almost call your shot. And then when they weren't too keen on the Twin Tail for whatever reason, I picked up a green pumpkin stinger. I would actually dye the tail, the little tips of the pinchers, chartreuse, to make it look like a bluegill, because there was tons and tons of bluegill in there. And sometimes they'd key off on this immediately because it actually did look like a bluegill. Actually, a lot of the beds that I seen, I would find the fish first because it would show itself, because it went to chase a bluegill somewhere, and I'd see a big swirl. So that's what would really kind of be like, make me want to pick up that stinger and use that. And then the other thing that I did when I was just in between places, because in the tournament there was a lot of rain, especially day one. It rained on us the whole time. What I would actually use is the Gambler Fat Ace. I wasn't using this size. This is a 7-inch. I believe I was using a 5-inch, and I was wacky rigging it just on a spinning rod, and I would skip it underneath docks. There was also a couple of low, small bridges that I would pitch it under, and that's how I would get my limit. I don't think I weighed anything in on the wacky rig on day one, but it got me my limit really quick. So that's pretty much the recap. Hopefully I'll have a pretty good tournament after this, and I can let you guys know how tomorrow goes. Hopefully it goes really good. Maybe I'll come home with a W. But looking forward to getting out there and competing. So until then, see you guys next time.